Welcome to Locked On Yankees, which is part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thanks for making us your first listen today. I'm your host, Ryan McMahon. This episode is brought to you by 5 Hour Energy. Enter for a chance to win a dream golf trip for two to any golf tournament in the USA. Visit 5hewin.com for full rules and entry. No purchase necessary. It excludes the Masters tournament, and it ends October 31st, 2025. And before we get started, don't forget to subscribe to the podcast or whichever podcasting platform you prefer, and subscribe to our channel on YouTube, like the video, and hit the bell so you're notified whenever our videos go live. We also have a TikTok account, so give us a follow over there at LockedOn_Yankees. Coming up on today's show, I'm going to preview the Blue Jays series for you. We'll go over Game 3 of the Houston Astros series, and of course, we'll get to the ever so anticipated Fanmail Friday, which you guys will get in a little bit. But first, we got to talk about Game 3 in Houston. This really felt like going in. It could be a typical Yankees series loss, and it really would have disappointed you, especially with the way Game 2 went. And we'll acknowledge first before we get into everything. Could they have swept this series? Abso-freaking-lutely. Not going to take that away from anything, and I might sound spoiled. I'm going to be spoiled in September when every game is at a premium at this point. But getting 2 out of 3, going into this series, if I would have told you they were going to take 2 out of 3 in Houston, you probably would have signed for it in any instant. Any fan out there would have signed for it in an instant to get 2 out of 3 out of this series. You wind up getting it. My theme for this series is bulldog mentality. How about Carlos Rodon? How about David Bednar? I'm going to start with Rodon first. He gives you 6 innings, 3 hits, 1 earned, 3 Ks, 2 walks. Now, the strikeouts have really dipped down in his last few starts, but he has pitched damn well in these starts. He's been absolutely electric for them. Everything they've signed a couple of years ago. The ERA is now very down. His 16th win of the season, which is overly impressive. A 3.12 ERA on the year, 180 strikeouts, a 107 whip. He has been everything as advertised this year. Absolutely elite for this team, and exactly what the doctor ordered in this Houston game, right? I mean, you could have very easily lost this game and really went home with a sour taste in your mouth. In what this series means to this team, what this team needs to start doing at this point in this season, absolutely massive win, an 8-4 victory. Alvarez had home run in this game, and by the way, he was just Yordan Alvarez killed them in this series. It felt like he got a hit every time he came up. I don't know how you guys felt, but Cody Bellinger continues to impress. Obviously, he's been unbelievable for them. And then Trent Grisham, the home run late, the 3-run shot late in this game. His 100th career home run, his 30th of the season. It's unbelievable. Did you guys see the list out there of the Yankees with 30 home run seasons as center fielders? It's like DiMaggio, Mantle, Judge, and now Trent Grisham. Unbelievably weird stat to be a part of. There's a few other names on there, but those are 4 of them, which is unbelievable to see. Overall, great game. And Weaver comes in, gets himself into a little bit of trouble, gives up an earned run, but winds up getting himself out of the damage. Fernando Cruz comes in, slowly developing himself as one of the Yankees' top trusted arms out there. Call it like it is. They really trust him and really love him. And then Bednar comes in, and it did feel like one of those situations where Boone just wanted Bednar to get some work in because he hasn't pitched in a few days, which is totally fine because these guys, again, we've talked about it. It's all about rhythm with closers. But to go to Bednar, he gets himself into trouble, which kind of like gets himself in trouble and then gets himself out of that same trouble. Love that. Shows the grit, shows the determination, shows the emotion afterwards. Absolutely love it. So they go into this Blue Jays series with a lot more confidence after taking 2 out of 3 in Houston. Absolutely unbelievable for this team. And I'm going to go over the standings for you guys real quick before I get into Fan Mail Friday, because it obviously is very important. The Yankees still have a lead on that wild card. They do have the first wild card spot. They are now have a 5-game lead over that last spot, which is absolutely huge. Boston's 4.5 up. Seattle is still has the final spot. And then Texas a 1.5 back. Kansas City 2 games. Tampa 2 games. Cleveland 3.5. It is incredible how close that is. Cleveland is 3.5 too, so they're further down there too. So they still hold tight at that top wild card spot. We'll see if they can make some improvements over the weekend. They come into this series against Toronto exactly 3 games back of the Blue Jays. Not saying it's going to happen, but you sweep Toronto over the weekend, you're tied for the division. They actually somehow, some way, control their own destiny. Who would have thought? But at this point, you just got to have some faith and love what you got out of this series. Absolutely unbelievable performance for them taking 2 out of 3. Should have been a sweep, but hey, you'll take 2 out of 3 in this spot. Let's start off Fanmail Friday like we do every single week as usual with Betty. Betty says 2 questions, one for you and one for Cashman. For you, of the 62 losses so far this season, how many sit squarely on the shoulders of our man Aaron Boone due to either stupid lineups or even more stupid bullpen choices? For Cashman, how many of these inexcusable losses will it take for you to take a step up? And Ken Boone, maybe you should, what's right in front of you, move on from this loser. Well, strong words from Betty right there. I'm sorry if I butchered the reading over there a little bit. I'll say this. When I evaluate this New York Yankees team, and we're going to definitely do a deeper dive when the season ends, but when I evaluate this team up front and what it looks like from the start of the season, where are the holes in the roster? Like, Betty, sit down for a second and look at this team's lineup and look before a game, look throughout the day. Where's the glaring hole? In the last couple of years, like, for example, last year, glaring hole at third base to start the year. Glaring hole in left field. No production. No thought of production, no future plan, nothing. No fix in the middle of the year. Where's the glaring hole post All-Star break? You short up the bullpen. You got a legitimate third baseman. They have 4 elite level outfielders. I wouldn't say totally 4 fielding wise, but you get my point. Where's the hole? Doesn't exist on this team. Jazz is even back at his natural position. So I think more of these losses this year are on Boone. In years past, sure. Are they on Cashman's shoulders? 100%. Right now, this year's on Boone. I don't know, a lot of people love to hear that because they want to blame Cashman too, and they want to get their pound of flesh from both guys. But this year's a Boone problem. Bullpen's been managed terribly. Lineups are crazy. I know what you're going to say. He doesn't make the lineup every day. Well, then tell me who does. Because all I have to blame is Aaron Boone for this point. Let's go to David F. He says the Yankees are just started the crucial 12-game stretch previously discussed. Based on the first 2 games, what is your prediction on the outcome of this set of games? My prediction, well, me and Stacy said if they get out of this with 7-5, we'll be really happy. I'm going to stick with that. They're on pace for it. I mean, they took 2 out of 3. If you could take 2 out of 3 from Toronto, you're a game back. You're 2 games back. I like that. And I like the position they'd put themselves in at that point. This might sound dumb to some of you. It is legitimately right in front of them at this point. It is. They could sweep Toronto technically and tie the division. Will it happen? Highly doubt it. Can it go into series expecting sweeps? But if you get out of this at 7-5, dare I say 8-4? Can we dream of 9-3? Probably not, but 8-4, best case scenario, they're right back in it. And tell me this team doesn't have the talent to make something happen. That's where, when it comes to them as opposed to other teams that are trying to sneak in, you can keep faith with the Yankees. Because the talent's there. The roster has it. Again, those glaring holes we've talked about that don't exist with this Yankee roster allow you to have hope that going forward, they could actually make some noise in the postseason. It's about getting there now and setting yourself up for success once you're there. Having to play multiple games in series on the road with rookie pitchers or young pitchers in your lineup, not ideal. Getting those games at home is what you really want. Let's finish the segment off with Malachi. Malachi says, are the Yankees winning because they're playing bad teams, or do you think they are actually good and corrected their mistakes? I think it's a little bit of both, Malachi. Houston has not played well coming into this series. They had a terrible series prior. They've also got the Seattle Mariners right up behind them who can't win games in Tampa, so they're feeling a little bit more of that pressure. I'll say this. The Yankees don't have a great track record of playing Houston well. Now, Houston definitely plays the Yankees better when they're in Yankee Stadium as opposed to when the Yankees are in Houston. I don't know why it works that way, but it just does of the last couple of years. But I don't think lately they're playing bad teams, and they're not going into a stretch of bad teams. Malachi, I'll tell you this. After this 12-game stretch, you'll have your answer for sure on that question. Submit that exact same question if you really want. Give us a bonus one, too. We'll answer that one, too. But submit that exact same question for next Fan Mail Friday. Because I'll have a much clearer answer after they get through Toronto to see where they sit going into that Tigers series and going into that Red Sox series. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, hit the like button on our videos, and hit the notification so you know when our videos go up. And if you would like to be a part of next week's Fan Mail Friday, you can go to our YouTube channel's page, click on the posts, and leave your question under the Fan Mail Friday post. Ask us anything you want, or you can join the Locked On Yankees Insiders Club where you can get top priority and your questions are answered first. That link is in our description, and it's only for Fan Mail Friday. You'll get texts from us with everything from lineups to roster updates, trades, and signings. You can also text us questions. There's a 14-day free trial. Coming up next, I'll get to more of your Fan Mail Friday questions. Well, guys, it's time to talk about Zippix. Do you need a boost through your day without reaching for another cup of coffee or energy drink? That's where Zippix, the caffeine toothpicks, come in. Instead of a crash that you get from sugary drinks, Zippix gives you a clean, convenient burst of caffeine anytime, anywhere. And if you're looking for that nicotine satisfaction, they've got Zippix nicotine toothpicks as well. Now, I've tried them. The flavors, unbelievable. You really will not taste anything other than these absolutely great flavors. Gives you that burst of energy you're looking for. I've used the caffeine ones before, big meetings, long drives, or even during late night game watching, especially now that football's back and there's so much TV being watched. These things really come in handy. They give me that extra edge without providing the jitters. The flavors are also legit. Peppermint watermelon is my favorite. Spearmint's my girlfriend's favorite. They are unbelievable. So it's not just energy. It actually tastes good. Are you ready to try them? Go to zippixtoothpicks.com and use promo code LOCKEDON for 10% off your first order. That's zippixtoothpicks.com, promo code LOCKEDON, Zippix Toothpicks. Energy and focus anytime you need it. So, guys, we have important requests for you. Locked On wants to hear from you, and we put together a survey to learn more about our listeners and make your favorite podcasts even better. This is your chance to tell us what you like, what you don't, and answer questions about our advertising. Go to lockedonpodcast.com/survey to get started. Everyone who completes the survey will be entered for a chance to win one of 10 $100 Amazon gift cards. Again, that's lockedonpodcast.com/survey. You can also find the link to in our show notes. Thanks for helping out. So, guys, as we trek along here in Fan Mail Friday, I'm going to go to Chris for our next question. He asks, in the spirit of fantasy sports, not sure if you two play, what would be your all-time Yankees lineup by position? One starter, reliever, one bench guy, and manager. Love to hear your thoughts. Thank you as always, and keep the fire going. Well, let's see. If I can think of one starter in Yankee history, I mean, there's tons for fantasy. See, it's different if you're going to go fantasy baseball perspective. Fantasy baseball-wise, you'd have to go Guidry, Cole, or I'm going to give you two. Guidry, Cole, Roger Clemens, or Randy Johnson. Big strikeouts, lots of duds and lots of deep games. I'd give you that one. Reliever, Mariano, but for fantasy purposes, again, you're going to win Mariano regardless because it'll all be all right, but for fantasy purposes, how about Aroldis Chapman or Zach Britton? High strikeout numbers if you're looking for with the extra points in fantasy. A bench guy is, I don't know if you mean a bench player or a guy that you can bring off the bench fantasy-wise, like almost like a flex play. But I'll give you a good one from this year. Giancarlo Stanton. Might be cheating a little bit. He's coming off the bench a lot, pinch hitting. And he's having a great year as a chance there. And manager, I guess you're going either Mr. T or Casey Stengel. Guys who won a lot, got a lot of experience out there. That's who I'm going for. Thanks for the question, Chris. A really interesting perspective there. Let's hear from Eric S. Eric says, want to change my Fan Mail Friday question. Should MLB investigate umpire Brian Walsh after his calls and the Facebook picture showing him in a Red Sox jersey? Very bad optics. We talk about this all the time, Eric. Optics are what matters in sports in the modern day for sure. And if you guys were unaware of this story, it's absolutely wild. So Brian Walsh has, let's face it, an all-time bad umpiring game behind the plate in game 2 of this series. All-time bad game behind the plate. Missed calls, the Jazz Chisholm thing at the end, throwing out Devin Williams when he's already being caught taken out of the game, throwing out Aaron Boone when he's clearly antagonizing Aaron Boone and looking for a response there, which is, by the way, something umpires are doing now, and Aaron Boone doesn't seem to care. That's fine by me. After the game, Yankee fans had went online and found Brian Walsh's Facebook, which is still active, and found that he is a longtime Red Sox fan. Pictures of him in Red Sox jerseys, at Fenway Park with friends, Red Sox hats on, the whole nine. You guys get it. Let's bring this to your attention. Do I think that he's making bad calls against the Yankees intentionally because he hates the Yankees and has this motive because he's a big Red Sox fan and all these different storylines you could possibly come up with? No, I don't. I'd like to believe Brian Walsh is a professional, and as much as we can go crazy with fandom, a professional umpire isn't going to. However, as Eric gives us so eloquently, the word optics. I'm going to go at Major League Baseball for this one. When you're hiring Brian Walsh, maybe take a look at his social media accounts. Pretty much any job you get nowadays, think about a conversation you've had with a 14-year-old who's making their first social medias, whether it's Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Twitter, X, whatever, name it. Think about the conversation you've had with young kids. Be careful what you post on there. It can come back to bite you with pretty much any job you can get nowadays. Am I wrong? Name the establishment. There's a chance they're looking at your social medias because it's all public. Anyone can pretty much see it at this point. Major League Baseball is not vetting their umpires. And if they are, like I'd hope they are, you don't think to say to your umpire, hey, there's pictures of you online in a Red Sox jersey. I know that you're not going to finagle games and make bad calls against the Yankees and all that kind of stuff, but maybe, just maybe delete those pictures. Or just get off Facebook. You don't need it anymore. The optics are terrible. They are. He's since deleted his account, too, the next morning, which is so funny how when Yankee fan had started circulating all over Twitter and someone clearly got back to him and said, hey, bad look. Then all of a sudden he has the awareness to delete the account. Kind of funny. Not going to lie. Very bad look. So I appreciate the question, Eric. Let's go to our YouTube questions, as that is it for our insiders. Casey Cotreau says, what record do you predict the Yankees finish this year and what place in the division? Very interesting question there. Let's see. The Yankees right now, as it stands, after the win on Thursday, sit there with a 78-62 record. I think at this point in time, they get to 90 wins. That feels crazy to say. But I think 90-72 is a realistic point that they get to at this point. Think about it. That's 12 more wins. That's not unreasonable. In the next 9 of this terribly difficult 12-game stretch. If they get 5 of those, it gets into 7 like we want. And then you need 7 more wins out of the next 12 games against 6 of them are against Baltimore, 7 against Baltimore, White Sox. Yeah, I think that's a realistic chance. I think 90-72 is a realistic shot. And you probably at that point fall short to Toronto. You're probably going to need somewhere between 93 and 95 wins to catch Toronto at this point. But 90 wins, I think, gets in the top wildcard spot. Which is going to be so crazy how we evaluate this team. If they're in the top wildcard spot, are we still killing them? When we look back on the year, are we going to talk about how good this year was that they had the top wildcard spot, or are we going to talk about how the bad play happened? I don't know how we're going to view it. That's for later on's perspective, because that's going to be an interesting one. One more before I get into this segment. Let's hear from Kevin Sweeney, K5C. Kevin says, with the hard loss last night, I'm thinking about next season. Who's coming back in your estimation? What free agents do you think the Yankees will pursue? Who's coming off the books? Everyone's dream is that Kyle Tucker is a Yankee. I don't think he is. I don't think they love the makeup of him after this year. He hasn't looked great in Chicago this year at all. There was revealed with the injury, the fracture, but I don't know if that's happening. I think they're going to do everything in their power to bring Cody Bellinger back. And I think he's going to get paid like crazy. I think in an ideal world, they'd love to have Trent Grisham back. I just don't know if that's possible. Like, I think with 30 home runs now and the power and the elite fielding, it does sort of feel like Trent Grisham has played his way out of a contract with the Yankees. They're not going to be able to afford him and Bellinger. Now, in an ideal world, Bellinger makes his decision early on, and if it's not the Yankees, they pivot and bring back Grisham, who's had a really nice year. Based on his earlier years, though, too, I don't know if you want to invest too much long-term in financial, the financial think could be a problem because Grisham's going to get paid based on his production this year, which he has never come remotely close to producing, especially when he was in San Diego. So I don't know how much you really want to pay Grisham. The odds of him putting up these years, whereas Bellinger's won a Rookie of the Year and MVP in the past, there's more evidence he can repeat this. I'd want Bellinger back. I'd pay for Bellinger too. I think he's worth it. He's had that good of a year. We'll see. It's going to be very fascinating. I like the question. There's a lot to dive into, though. Potential free agents, I haven't looked too deeply into it. They will not be after a starting pitcher. I'll give you that. They're going to look at Garrett Cole coming back as one of those. Right now, your next year's rotation is Cole, Rodon, Fried, Schlittler as it stands right now. That's pretty damn good. And Warren, you take that going forward. And Heel. I mean, they got room and depth in the starting pitching. They'll probably look to bring back. I'm not going to get into the bullpen right now because it's too much to break down. It's going to be a very interesting offseason, though. I don't think not a lot of things hold true at this point, but I think Bellinger will be their top priority if that works for you. Coming up, I'm going to get to the rest of the questions from our YouTube listeners. Plus, I am going to preview the series against the Blue Jays. It keeps hitting, guys. More and more big series coming forward. They got through the first one, 2 out of 3. Now they have to see the second one against Toronto. Time to fuel up and turn it up with 5-Hour Energy Transfusion. This grape, ginger, and lime flavored drink has the iconic taste of a golf course favorite, but it has that non-alcoholic boost added to it. It's perfect for sinking birdies or making great memories with friends. It's a hole-in-one for your energy game. Whether you're out there on the course, just need a little extra push to power through your day, 5-Hour Energy Transfusion delivers the clubhouse flavor that you love without ever having to leave the green. Golf is all about good times with good people and good flavors. The grape ginger lime flavor of 5-Hour Energy Transfusion gives you the best parts of your clubhouse go-to without leaving the course or having to chase down the beverage cart. Now you can amp up the fun even more. Just buy, snap, and enter for a chance to win a dream golf trip for 2 to any golf tournament in the United States. Tee up that trip. Visit 5hewin.com for full rules and entry. There's no purchase necessary. It excludes the Masters tournament. It ends October 31st, 2025. So, guys, ready to close out this episode with your final Fanmail Friday questions. But first, I want to say not only do we cover your team every day, but we're also giving you instant episodes after every single game. Check out the Locked On Yankees postcast. It's hosted by Jay Berman, and it appears right here on the Locked On Yankees podcast feed. It also streams on our YouTube channel. You can check out the Locked On Yankees postcast by getting rapid reaction to all the biggest moments with the Locked On Yankees postcast. Again, anywhere that we appear normally. I want to finish up the YouTube questions first, and then I will get to the preview of the Blue Jays series. First, I want to get to finish off the last segment. It's from H5244888. He says, Stacey, Brian, I know you guys discussed this subject on the recent episode of the podcast, but my question is, what do you really think is wrong with Aaron Boone and Devin Williams? Is it mentality or is it just the New York atmosphere? Thanks, guys. I wouldn't say it's New York atmosphere because Devin Williams is a pretty cool, calm, and collected guy. So I have a hard time believing that it's atmosphere. I think Devin Williams has just gotten the yips this year, and he has not been the same guy, truthfully, since that Pete Alonso home run last year. I mean, that's it. Since giving up look at his track record prior to giving up that home run. He's one of the most dominant pitchers in all of baseball for a lengthy stretch of time. So I can't blame Brian Cashman for trusting that Devin Williams will be able to figure it out. He hasn't. He will not be back with this team. That simple as that. I don't think it has to do with Boone or anything like that. The year got off to a bad stretch. It started off poorly. His confidence went down. He wasn't able to figure things out. He sort of figured it out in the middle of the year, and it's been downhill since. I wouldn't trust him to close a door in the month of October at all. Don't go anywhere near anything with Devin Williams. I know Boone will still be obviously all aware of that. I know they want to go down with the ship and who's on their roster, but at a certain point, you got to realize this guy's not getting it done for you. Let's hear from BMB30 Shots. He or she says, do y'all think the energy matters? Me saying that is Will Warren didn't set the tone good enough. He rubbed the energy off on the bullpen. Every time he get a 4-0 lead, he'd choke like he's scared to pitch. Please answer my question. Y'all always skip me. Well, I'm sorry. We do get a lot of questions, so it's hard to get to every single one. I do think energy matters with a team. There's been, you haven't really heard it this year with this roster, but I was thinking of this the other day. The Yankees at some point in the middle of the year could have used a fight. And I don't mean that in a bad way where I want someone to get hurt, but they could use the energy of someone getting beamed by a pitch and the whole team rallying together and getting out there and going after another team. Rallies the troops, it gathers guys around. There's value behind that. There's something to that. It feels like they could use that or something. They need some juice. And I agree with you. Will Warren pitching well and or not pitching well sets a tone for a bad game. Now, I will say this, BMB, you have to be able to get out of that spot. You're up 3 runs. You're up 4-1 in that game. With the bullpen and the way you acquired these players, you have to use those guys to get through that spot. There's no excuses in that point. They didn't get through. They lost game 2. It obviously feels super frustrating looking back on it now because you could have easily got out of Houston with a sweep. But hey, take 2 out of 3. Move on to Toronto, as some others would say. Last Fanmail Friday question of this, Brian Barrett, 732, says, all right, guys, I'm a longtime fan of the Yanks. This take may look like a rookie take, but this has bothered me for some time. I love the human element to our game. I love baseball, and we have human umps, but dang, why is there 0 repercussions for terrible umpires or like this in Houston series? Umps that made single-handedly over 20 missed calls and over 3/4 of them against one team. There needs to be punishments or investigations if they are going to maybe ruin someone's career, like Clase for throwing a first pitch. All these instances where 75% of calls go against one team need to be looked into officiating. Should not be above the game. Want to hear what you guys think. Thank you for a concerned fan. I love your point. And the MLB does do report cards to the umpires, but if you're great as an F, nothing happens. So I don't see what the repercussions are. You have to figure out some sort of system. And there will be a checks and balances once the robo-umps are here, hopefully next season, which it looks like they will be. But I agree. And we've discussed this on most episodes. The ego, the smugness, the not willing to even let other managers have a say. And I think Aaron Boone goes over the top sometimes. And I'm not suggesting that profanity or hateful words, anything like that, should be allowed by these managers towards these umpires. Certainly the stuff that, the Billy Martins of the world got away with saying in the past, the Lupinellas and stuff, would be unacceptable in today's game. But let's not sit here and act like these with today's climate in the world. I don't think Aaron Boone's saying those things to these guys. And every time he argues about anything, these umpires are looking to throw him out. That has to go away. That creates hostility. And hey, sometimes in sports, emotions run high. You got to let these guys get their emotions out. Devin Williams walking off the mound yesterday saying, that's 4, quote, that's 4 you missed. Really? You're going to throw him out because of that? Let him get the steam off. He's out of the game anyway. Again, if he's screaming, cursing, saying horrible things to you about you, your family, all that kind of stuff, get him out of there. I don't have a problem with that. Getting rid of him because you don't like these making comments towards you missing pitches late. When you did, by the way. Come on. Grow up a little bit. So Yankee Blue Jays preview going into Friday's series. This is going to be a tough series, and we thought Houston was tough. Toronto's going to come in tougher. You got to keep your ground. You got to try and get this series over with. I was shocked they played Giancarlo Stanton in all 3 games in Houston. I wonder if it makes him not available Friday night in Yankee Stadium, or if Darren Judge is ready to play Friday night in Yankee Stadium and they can DH Giancarlo Stanton. However you need him in the lineup. With how good he's played, you just do. Friday is a 7:05 game on Yes. We're going to get Cam Schlittler, who's 2-2 at a 2.61 ERA, up against Kevin Gausman, who's killed the Yankees, 8-10 with a 3.75. Saturday on Yes, you will get a 105 start. Luis Gil, who's 2-1 with a 2.68, up against Max Scherzer, who's 5-2 with a 4.11. Now, interesting note here. Both of those guys were in Houston for the Yankees-Houston series. Cam Schlittler and Luis Gil were sent home on a private plane early in the afternoon on Thursday. So they are both in New York, fully rested, fully ready to go for the weekend series. I absolutely love that strategy from the team. Sunday, it is another 135 start. It is on Yes. Max Fried, 15-5 with a 2.98 ERA. Got it under 3 after the last start. Looking for his 16th win, which Carlos Rodon got on Thursday night. So a little bit of friendly competition there, maybe. Up against Chris Bassett, who's 11-7 with a 4.10. Such an important series. Again, we cannot understate it. Me and Stacey, who's not here today, cannot understate how unbelievably big of a series this is. They potentially could get out of this series against Toronto tied for the division. They're 3 games back going into this series. So they technically, as of now, they do control their own destiny, and it is technically right in front of them. It's another big moment for Locked On college football fans. Locked On and Fire TV present College Football Kickoff, your ultimate college football weekly preview. Drake Toll of Locked On Big 12 leads the conversation alongside two-time AP Coach of the Year, Gary Patterson, former college star Jesse Holley, and Locked On's local experts. A college football preview only Locked On can do. Catch College Football Kickoff every Thursday throughout the season only on Fire TV. That's going to do it for this edition of Locked On Yankees. I'm your host, Ryan McKeon. We will catch you guys on Monday.